Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the John Kotfila Memorial Dog Park. It's apparently I have to either go lower or talk louder. Okay. It's an honor to welcome all of my two-legged and four-legged friends here this morning to celebrate and honor Hillsborough Sheriff's Deputy John Kotfila. My name is Joe Wagner. I'm the Executive Secretary of the Hillsborough Expressway Authority, and I'm honored and joyful and a bit saddened to be here this morning. After Deputy Kotfila lost his life on the Selmon Expressway a year ago last March, we prayed for his family, friends, and fellow law enforcement officers. When we later learned of his love of dogs and his pet Dexter, we came up with the perfect way to honor his memory, at least we thought, and that was this dog park. Thea built this park for the community and is dedicating it to the memory of Deputy Kotfila. It should provide our canine friends and their two-legged butlers with a lot of pleasure in the future years, and that's our hope. It's my hope that every time someone walks past this monument and through these gates, that they'll be reminded of Deputy John Kotfila and those who protect the right to our pursuit of happiness. Thank you. I'm going to ask Commissioner Merman to come say a few words for us. Sandy?
Well, good morning, everyone, and we're delighted to be here to celebrate the opening of this dog park. As you can see, I brought my own dog with me, Rocky Top. He travels with me quite a bit. Dog parks are just great for our community. They bring everybody together. But today, I think what we're so proud of, we're proud of our law enforcement. As a county commissioner, we know that safety and security is the #1 priority in most people's minds as they travel and as they live and reside here in Hillsborough County. But we were so sad the day that we lost one of our own, Deputy John Kotfila. He was in the wrong way accident, and it was just a very, very sad day for all of us. And it really showed us how much we care about those that stand for us and protect and serve our community. And he was so young. He was 30 years old. He served with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office for 6 years. He was deeply committed. He was actually a constituent of mine, lived down in South County. It's protecting the residents of Hillsborough County. Came from a long line of law enforcement family. His father, brother, and both grandfathers. And I think what I'm so happy about is that Thea, Tampa Hillsborough Expressway Authority, sought to honor his legacy and dedicate this dog park in memory of, well, not in honor of his dog, he's still living, Dexter. So it was just a proud day for all of us, and I thank everyone for coming out today to help us really honor this wonderful law enforcement officer that we have, but also to celebrate for his dog Dexter with the opening of the dog park. Thank you all.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Colonel Chad Cronister. It is such a privilege and an honor to represent the 4,100 members of the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office in saying thank you. Thank you to the Expressway Authority. Thank you to our great County Commissioner, Sandy Merman. Thank you to all the volunteers and community officials who made this park possible. This park will now serve as an everlasting tribute to our Deputy Sheriff who paid the ultimate sacrifice. Someone once said that a dog is the only thing in life that will love you more than he loves himself. That's why this couldn't be more fitting, because John and Dexter had a love that only you who own a pet and own a dog know the love that I speak of. So thank you to everyone. Thank you for making this possible. If I could now have the Kotfila family please come forward. Mr. Kotfila.
Have him speak first. Try to. You can speak first.
I am?
Yeah.
Makes it easy. Okay, for us. Yeah, go ahead.
We're honored to be here and so thankful to the Selmon Expressway Highway and the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. John Robert loved his dog Dexter. I'm disappointed we couldn't bring him, but it would have been too difficult for him. When John Robert got Dexter, everyone said, don't do it. Don't get a dog. You don't have time for it. You work 12 hours a day. Me included. But he did, and he raised a wonderful dog. He took him everywhere, and he did everything with him. He brought him home special meals every time he went out to dinner, or just took him to the restaurant with him. They boated, they hiked, they biked, they went to his grandparents, his uncles. He took him to Tractor Supply, took him to Home Depot, took him to dog parks and fields to run. When we picked up Dexter last May to bring him home to Massachusetts, he was very thin, only about 55 pounds. I believe he was going through his own mourning process. We rented a van, we packed him up, and off we went. Dexter loves to ride in the car. John Robert always had him in the car, and we got home with no problems. We have another shepherd at home. Her name is Elsa, and they bonded immediately. They're always together, and they play for hours. We've kept Dexter busy. His father is a canine dog, so he has a strong drive, and he likes to be busy. He goes on runs, bikes, rides, walks, and I'm now doing agility with him. He's a natural, and he loves the A-frame. I'm wearing this brace due to that agility class. I have a torn meniscus, thanks to Dexter. He's gained about 15 pounds, and I can honestly say I believe he's happy, and he's never looked better. I don't know where I would be today if John Robert had listened to everyone and not gotten that dog. I almost didn't bring him home. That dog is my last link to my son, and he gives me purpose and joy every day. He sleeps with me every night and never leaves my side. One of his favorite places to go is John Robert's grave. There's lots of room to run, lots of new smells, and he starts whining as soon as we turn down the street. He knows where he's going. He loves people. Last week I went out in my backyard and there were 2 kids playing with him that I didn't even know. He gets a bark box and Chewy.com delivered on a regular basis. He loves getting mail and packages, something he learned from John Robert. Everyone in Florida has been so supportive, and John Robert has become your son as much as he is ours. And now Dexter will be remembered as one of your own too. The Selmon Expressway has always been known as where John Robert was killed. It's comforting to have a new memory that will bring joy and happiness to many other people and many other dogs. Dexter was John Robert's best friend. Thank you.
Good morning. On behalf of my family, I would like to thank Susan and the Expressway Authority for naming this dog park after John Robert and keeping his memory alive. For those of you that don't know me, I'm John Robert's uncle. I was a corporal with the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office for 30 years until I recently retired 3 weeks ago. 16 of those years I was a canine handler. So like my sister said, when John Robert got ready to get a dog, he kept asking me questions over and over. And those of you that know John Robert, he was relentless. And I told him, I said, John, you're not gonna have enough time, don't get a dog. But again, you know, like my sister said, I'm glad that he did. John Robert has loved dogs from the time he was a little kid, from the shepherd that he had, Nola, which was his mother when he was growing up. So when he decided to get Dexter, he'd call me, and I said, John Robert, the best thing that you could do would be to socialize the dog. Bring him out wherever you want to go, take him, let people introduce him to people so the dog is social with everybody. Well, I didn't realize when I told him that he would take it to heart, because he took him everywhere. We'd go out on the boat, the dog would be on the boat. We're out on the boat one day, and all of a sudden, John Robert's boat just quit. I'm like, and I was telling him, I'm like, John Robert, we're not going to break down on this boat, are we? Well, what happened is Dexter would come in between the center console and the key and shut the key off. Well, it did it like 3 times before we figured out what the problem was with the boat. So he took the dog everywhere. I know if John Robert was still here with us, he would have loved to bring Dexter here. So again, thank you for all the work and that everybody did to put this together. I know that he would appreciate it, and my family certainly does. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning. My name is John Robert Kotfila Sr. I'm going to get a little bit more involved in a couple of things that haven't been touched on so far. But I want to thank all the honored guests for being here. I want to thank the people of Hillsborough County, Tampa, for such a wonderful turnout. I don't think we could have expected this many people to turn out for this event. Being here today, I'm just blown away by this dog park. It's just unbelievable. Joe Wag's around. First met Joe at the golf tournament, and this whole dog park thing came about a year ago, and a lot of it had to do with the Mark Tucker Foundation. These guys with the white shirts over here, Will Rollins was the president at the time. Will was also an instructor of SOT 11, which was John Roberts' class. Will couldn't be here today, he's in Baltimore. Don Tucker, Mark's father, unbelievable guy. Mark will never be forgotten, sir. He will never be forgotten. Jason Cannell, thank you, Jason, for everything, taking over the Mark Tucker Foundation now and just coming up with all this unbelievable stuff. Mike Hurley, retired last year from the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. Troy Morgan, not here. Dan McGill, coming on board, and Lonnie Tucker. These guys, really, the seed was really planted with this foundation and John Robert's classmates who wanted to do something to honor John Robert. And also, when you see this monument that's unveiled today, John Paul, is he here today? Nobody could work on this except for John Paul. So they put together this golf tournament in a very, very short period of time. Raised a lot of money for this, and it happened very, very quickly. And some of the people I remember from that day are Scotty Crockett, who's also on the board from Crockett Towing. Scotty was very instrumental that day. Direct descendant of Davy Crockett, by the way, I don't know if anybody knew that. A couple things Scotty did. He had this huge flag at the tournament that was just unbelievable. But then Scotty won a Glock 22 handgun in the raffle. He donated it back and said, "Here, have an auction for it." Never forget that from Scotty. And then Nick Pirro from Leominster, Massachusetts, who was sitting with us, bid on it, won it, and then gave it to my daughter, Caitlin, who graduates from the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office next week. I want to talk a little bit about the Sheriff's Department. Okay, Sheriff David G. I met for the first time 7 years ago at John Roberts' graduation. I met him, I spent a lot of time with him that day, and I said to John Robert, that man is the ultimate politician, or he is one of the nicest guys I have ever met. John Robert looked at me and said, "Daddy's a nice guy. What you see is what you get." And I have learned that he is indeed a nice, genuine person and a hell of a sheriff. Today is a bittersweet day in regards to that, as he has announced his retirement and will be leaving in September. It is a well-deserved retirement, and he leaves some big shoes to be filled. Okay, he has announced to Governor Scott who he thinks is the most qualified person to take over the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, and that is Colonel Chad Cronister, who's here today. We wholeheartedly agree with this choice and urge Governor Scott to appoint Chad Cronister as the interim sheriff of the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. The department will continue the excellent work that was started by Sheriff G. So hopefully that will get done. I'm sorry if I'm rambling around here, but just trying to get a lot in. The day John Robert died was March 12, 2016. That day forever changed our lives. Our loss is unimaginable, as is the loss to Hillsborough County. Feels like an out-of-control fire has burnt down our entire forest. It's all dark, gloomy, and depressing. But out of darkness, little new growths of trees started. The sprouts started up. Rising up from the ashes of the burnt land, we have seen so many acts of kindness and things that have happened that otherwise would not have. 2 people's lives were saved that night by his actions. 2 people will be able to see again because of the donation of his organs. His cousin Mark is now a guard in the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, and our daughter will be graduating next week in SOT 45. There's some people I want to thank in regards to the golf tournament. Okay, there was a generous donation of memorabilia. They raised over $30,000 at this golf tournament. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and especially Miss Claudia Barber, were instrumental in getting these donations done. Also, one of the big raffle items we had was donated by probably my new favorite golfer, Fuzzy Zeller. 2 tickets to the Masters he donated, which raised a lot of money for the tournament. I'll never forget that, and he's my new favorite golfer of all time. I'll tell you a little bit about my son. He was born September 9th, 1985, sorry. Emergency C-section. We found out later the umbilical cord was wrapped around his neck, and the doctor said, we have to take him now or there may not be a baby to take. So they did, and within 15 minutes, he was born. The day he was born with the eye of the tiger, and he had the heart of a lion. He was 5 months premature, and he was very small. But that never stopped him, didn't stop him that day, and it didn't stop him in life. As we've read his letters that are in his personnel file, in his short 6 years, he has more good guy letters in his file than I have in 37 years. He was around animals his whole life. We had dogs, cats, birds, fish, hamster, and rabbits for 30 years. The dogs we had were TC, Hunter, McCall, Billie Jean, Nala, Jerry, Elsa, and now Dexter. Sometimes I can't remember what I went into the next room for, but I can remember all those names clearly. One of our favorite shows back home is the incredible Dr. Pol. Dr. Pol says that kids who grow up with animals make better adults. And this allows people to bring their dogs here in this area where there's not a lot of room for dogs to roam, and allows the dogs to be dogs, and it allows kids to be kids. And in closing, on his gravestone, it says, "A hero remembered never dies." I urge you to come here and see this magnificent monument. Go to the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office in Ybor City and see the Sheriff's Museum and see the unbelievable wall It's a tribute to the fallen officers. Remember the deputy sheriffs of Hillsborough County who have made the ultimate sacrifice. Always remember and honor their names. In doing so, they will never die. Thank you. Next up is Barry Alvarez from the Selmon Expressway. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Danny Alvarez. I'm a member of the board of the Expressway Authority. It is my extreme pleasure to be here. And Colonel Cronister told me, listen, no podium, no notes. But today is such a big day, and this is such an important thing for me. I don't think I could make it without my notes. But first, let me thank first the Colonel for being here. We appreciate it. We appreciate your leadership. Sandy Merman coming out here, her leadership and guidance. Joe Wagner, I have to tell you from the bottom of my heart, this would not happen if it wasn't for Joe and his leadership. Sue, thank you very much from all the members of the board. It is an extremely important move for us, and you guys pioneered it. We would be remiss if we didn't thank the city of Tampa. The city of Tampa, who is taking over the park and is going to run it. They were our partners in this venture, and we want to make sure we thank them very much. It isn't always fair, this thing we call life. Fairness is a construct that we came up with, and we've backed it with the lives of our fallen. It's born in blood, of sacrifice, through uncommon valor. Yet the thing we strive to achieve is the thing that reminds us daily how unattainable it is, how unreachable the answers we seek, that this family seeks. But through it all, we live. Life is not fair. Deputy Kotfila is gone, and we remain. We live, and in doing so, we remain steadfast to the commitment that his sacrifice shall forever be remembered. Not carved in a wall of granite or through a tombstone in a field. No. It's us. It is our children, our actions, our lives. We are his walking memorial of a life that remains unlived. If you think you get to move through this life just checking in, then I'm here to tell you, you're wrong. You get up because he can't. You thrive because he will never get the chance again. And you succeed because to do so is the greatest memorial to a man who gave it all up so that you could. Here you see a park. But I see a field full of hope, a place that we can forever remember that there are men and women who care more about the others around them than they do themselves. We must remember a man like John Kotfila because he is extraordinary. Not was, is. He is because he lives when you take care of your neighbor, when you give more than you get, and when you make this whole thing we call life a better place. To the men and women who wear a badge, and to the men and women who are trying to get there, we thank you. And we hope that this place serves as a small reminder that the bar John set is very high. You gotta live up to it. To the Kotfila family, we are forever indebted to you. And we hope that this hallowed ground properly reflects the gratitude and humility that this authority, city, and county feel towards you and your son and his sacrifice. I can assure you that it was not in vain. And on behalf of the Tampa Expressway Authority Board and the staff, we thank you from the bottom of my hearts, and he will be a life that is remembered, sir. Count on it. Thank you very much for coming.
Oh, my bag came apart. Mrs. Kotfila. Miss Kotfila. Here we have a bag of doggy treats. And best of all, in there are some doggy donuts for Dexter to enjoy when you're getting home.
Yeah,
so I'll hold these for you now.
Okay.
Right now, I'd like to have the family gather around the monument. We're going to unveil the monument at this time. Okay, we have the rest of the afternoon to enjoy here. Please, you're all welcome to come in, experience the dog park. There's food, and there's plenty of water over there if you're interested. So once again, thank you to the Kotfila family. We appreciate you coming for us today, and thank you all for coming here today very much. Thank you.